More than half of Americans, now this is not from Noble, this one's from Pew. We'll get to Noble in a minute. Pew Research Center, more than half of Americans are following the elections closely, and many are already worn out. People are already tired, and I don't think that people are tired of the issues. I think Americans are very engaged, even at younger ages. One of the things I've had the privilege of doing over the years, and it's been a while, and I miss it very much. I was asked over a couple of years to speak with the social studies students. They would bring all those kids in, and there would be an assembly at Red Mountain High School, and I would talk with the high school kids about issues. And I wouldn't go in there and give a speech because I don't know that they wanted to hear what I had to say. But I definitely wanted to hear what they had to say. So I would ask questions and solicit answers from kids in the crowd. And I will tell you something. All of the assumptions that we are losing our youth, it's wrong. I believe we're not educating them the way we should. But it doesn't mean that they are not brilliant. Young people are smart, and they are very in tune with what's going on. They're concerned about the economy. Back then, they were concerned about war. They were concerned about terrorist attacks. They were concerned about the same things that we are concerned about. They may see them at a different level because they're 15, 16 years old, but they had the same social concerns that we do. And I love the conversation with them and helping them. I never contradicted I would tell them what I thought. I never contradicted their opinions. There was one comment, we were talking about the subject of climate change came up, and I kind of gave my opinion. And there was a girl that was very courageous. I think this is a brave thing to do. She said, I disagree with you, but I don't know why. And I said, you have got to be able to develop your argument. You have got to, it's called apologetics. You have to not only know what you believe, but you have to understand why you believe it and be able to articulate why you believe what you believe. It was such a good conversation. Young voters in America, this is, the headline is, on one hand, it is funny, but on the other hand, it's terrifying. Poll finds that younger voters despairing over U.S. politics. We are a dying empire led by bad people. That's what young people see in American politics. So as we see young people, I believe that this is where the break is. Young people are engaged in their own way and with their own peer group. We know that kids talk about their parents. We know that kids, this is the way it's always been. They talk about the teachers and life is unfair. And as a parent, you say you think it's unfair now. Wait till you get to the real world. Kids are always upset about how much schoolwork they have until the year after they graduate from high school and they're in the real world and they wish they were back in high school. It's all a part of the maturing process. This is different. This is young people looking at leadership and saying, we don't trust you. There's a difference. You cannot agree with your parents. It's different than not trusting them. It's disagreeing with your parents versus saying, my parents are not good people. The young people saying we have a dying empire led by bad people. It is one of two things are going to happen. Either this group, this generation, is going to make dramatic changes and be committed that it's not going to happen to their kids, or they're going to walk away from the process. And I'm not sure which direction it will go. Young people don't classically, you don't vote when you're younger. You get involved in issues, but the idea of being a part of the process, if you're really anti-establishment, and many young people are by nature, they're not going to be a part of the establishment process. It's when you get older and you're paying taxes and other things are happening, you get involved in the process. But when you look at this, half of the voters out there 60% of voters are saying we're really engaged in this. Young people are saying this is a dying empire led by bad people. Not very good. You look at the demographics, the president is reaching out to black voters because he is having a big struggle with them. And then we've got the trial of former President Trump. Jury is deliberating 34 charges against the former president. There are many people that are saying none of this matters right now. I want you to listen to some of the numbers I got yesterday in talking with Mike Noble. Fascinating stuff. When you look at how many people are Trump voters in the Republican Party versus Republicans. Now, the way it always has been is if you're a Republican, you're a staunch Republican. If you're a Democrat, I'm a Democrat. And candidates come and go, but the party loyalty stands. For the first time, we are seeing in the Republican Party, people are identifying as Trump voters bigger than they are saying I'm a Republican voter. It's not that way on the Democrat side. On the Democrat side, it is much higher people that are loyal to the party and not to Joe Biden, President Biden. When you look at that and you see that 54% of Democrats in a recent poll, which is a majority, the majority of Democrats still in May of an election year want the sitting president of the United States to drop out of the race and be replaced with another candidate. All that being said, look how close the race is. If I said to you, if you did not have any idea of what was going on in this election year, if we were talking about you were learning history in a previous election year, and we said in the election year, 6 months from the election, the sitting president of the United States was so unpopular with his own party that 54% of his own party said, we want another candidate. We don't want the incumbent president to be the candidate anymore. If we told you that the poll numbers for that president were underwater and have been for almost his entire presidency, where he did not have a favorability with the American voters and independent voters didn't like him, and the two biggest issues that election year to the electorate was the economy and the border issues in America. And the two areas where that president polled the worst with the American people were the economy and the border. And then I told you, but he's within the margin of error against his opponent. Wouldn't you think that his opponent would be a walkover? Wouldn't you think that the Republican candidate would be in line to win 47 states? And that's not the case. So we go back to what we said about young people, saying that we are a dying empire led by bad people. Is the electorate in the United States disappointed with who we put up as candidates? I'm not trying to hammer the character of either person. I'm making an observation. And I think many people are making the same observation I'm making. That here we have so many people paying very close attention to what's happening, and they're disgusted by what they're seeing. We'll see how this all plays out.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.